I'm welding exhaust systems today, and one of them is cooling down. So I got about 10-15 minutes to make a quick video about this bike now, because I want to, like I said, I promised you to make kind of updates for whoever is interested, because at the beginning it was nothing but problems with this bike, but slowly when I sorted them out, it turns out there actually wasn't many problems with the bike. It was mostly me not knowing how these bikes work. And eventually the only issue with this bike was the injector, was a dirty injector, which every time I cleaned it was fine. As a matter of fact, the injector now has been 2 or 3 days, absolutely no problems. However, I've just fitted brand new injector, and the bike is mint. It's absolutely great. There's no more issues. There's nothing wrong with it. It just runs perfect. It's nice and smooth. It will probably do with the remap, obviously with the open filter and an exhaust. I'm probably gonna do with the dongle, fuel dongle, which kind of acts with the lambda sensor. But that's for another day. Is good enough for now. It's good enough. Obviously, I removed the fuel tanks, as you can see. So another issue I had with the bike, which wasn't on the trial, wasn't on the lanes. Actually, when I brought the bike back in the workshop yesterday, I noticed I had a flat. So it took me back home, and it slowly got flat in the van. Again, not bike's issue. The bike had these tubes front and back. They are very thin. This is, when you're talking heavy duty tubes in the tires, these are, I don't know what these are, but this is probably as thin, this rubber, as these gloves. So yeah, I removed, obviously I cut off the valve because I left them in the rims. Why I left them in the rims, I didn't change the tubes. I fitted mousses, and from the back, front is a normal M8 Michelin B mousse, on the back is Michelin Desert mousse. These are the mousses I had on my T7, and before you're saying they're not good for road use, shut up, you're wrong. It's been 2 years, both of these mousses are under my T7 on the heavy abuse, never an issue. The front gave up a little, it's a little bit softer than it was new. The Desert mousse, honestly, after 2 years, it is exactly the same as it was new. The only thing that changed, it kind of took the shape of the rim inside. So that's the only thing changed. But other than that, the stiffness is exactly the same. Besides having loads of holes in it, because obviously, if that wasn't there, it would be a lot of punctures. So you can see the signs of holes from puncturing something from nails. I don't know what it is, or stones. God knows. I don't know because I've never noticed that. Because again, it's a mousse, so that's the beauty of them. You don't actually notice how good they are because they don't give you any issues. You just forget about them. Now, how does a bike ride on the mousses? I already said this on the T7. T7 is a bit more of a road bike. It behaves better on the mousses than this. The front waves a little bit more. However, this bike is on a motocross tires, not even enduro tires. So this is the worst case scenario for the tires you can put on this bike for the road use. However, is not tragic. Under acceleration after 50, 60, yeah, it's a bit wobbly and it's a bit sketchy. However, it's not as bad as you would think. I was expecting worse, so I'm okay to fit them on. Obviously, once I finish these tires up, I'm probably going to put something more kind of 50-50 or 30-70, a little bit more road orientated. Some mittens, maybe XT, Enduro Tri or whatever they called. Because this is more of an adventurous setup, not enduro. Enduro training and going naughty on the off-road, I got my 350. This is adventure stuff. I want a bike that is a bit more dirt orientated, more than a T7, which again T7 is great, but I am a bit worried about doing green lanes on a T7 on my own, because I don't want just to ride on the gravel roads. I want have more fun and adventure in places that I don't actually know them. So it could be anything. With this bike, I'm not worried at all. On a T7 on my own, I can pick it up, no problems. But sometimes, you get in sketchy places. So this actually suits me better, surprisingly. Again, this was the bike not this one, the newer one, the newer version, which not much, it did change, but the platform is the same. I was in between the 701 or the 7, choose the T7. I built the race bike, which now is going to be for sale. For two different reasons, not just because I switched the bikes, it's different reasons too. Anyways, the bike, I've done the forks, so I've done the suspension, everything is fresh. New brakes, which they were there. I've changed the injector, the bike is mint. What else I did? Mousses, I fixed a couple of little brakes. Oh, the clutch. I was complaining about the clutch because it was slipping quite a lot. So I've changed the new clutch, new plates, and it was still slipping. I cleaned the metal plates. It was slightly better. But then what I had is that in 5th and 6th, for example, if you close the throttle and open it quite aggressively all together, RPMs kind of jumped up. So I had a clutch slippage for a fraction of a second, and then it grips. But that I didn't like it. I know that's not right. Now these have the slippery clutch, but the slippery clutch works when you're downshifting, not upshifting. And I felt there was something wrong. Now, I don't know if you know how they works. If you don't, I'm not going to explain because I'm going to spend the rest of the video explaining how it works. But it has two sets of springs. Small springs, which they're actually small like this, 4 of these. And they act kind of like as a clutch assistance. This is one of the reasons, well, actually this is the reason why the clutch on the 690 is so light. This is, you can activate with your pinky. It's extremely light. It's much lighter than my 350. And then obviously the clutch, it works in a way that it releases the pressure from the plates when you're downshifting, so when you have the engine braking, and clamps the plates when you accelerating on the torque. However, there is that action, clamping and disclamping or releasing the plates, is balanced with not just with the engine torque forth and back, but also with these clutches, springs, sorry. So now I was worried that, I don't know who worked on the bike before, if they changed them, if the one set of them were new, the other ones were used, or they just lost maybe some of the load on the springs, like again, age and heat. That's what springs, they do it. So what I did, I removed those 2 springs I showed you, because there's 4 of them. I removed them, and now it's absolutely perfect. Now, do I feel any difference on the clutch lever? Yes, I do. It's slightly heavier, but this is so soft anyway that even if I lost, I don't know, maybe 10%, maybe not even, it's barely noticeable. It is noticeable, but very little, and it's still very soft. I'm happy with it. It clamps immediately. There's no slippage whatsoever. In addition, I think there's a bit more feedback from the clutch. I didn't have it before, but now I can feel the clutch a little bit more better, There's more, not even a control, because you control the clutch very good, but I don't know how to explain it. It's, for example, I like the cable clutches, and now it's closer to the same feedback that the cable clutch gives you on this one. I like it. It's good. So, yeah, it's good. NAFTA has proven himself to be great. The position of the navigation, obviously, I'll remove the tablet now. It's perfect. Put the clocks here, and again, I fitted them just with the zip ties. I'm gonna do something nicer, but I'm gonna leave exactly the same position probably because I just found it very good, both road and off-road. This, see from the side, see how it is. Sitting, you can see it good enough. Standing up, absolutely perfect. I love it. I will not change that position. So this NAFTA actually stays on this bike. I'm going to refine a little bit. There's plenty of space here for spare levers, whatever you want to do. I used to have only one time I went out on Sunday, but I had my compressor and my spare tubes. But obviously now, as you're running mousses, I don't need a compressor, I don't need the tubes, I don't need the tire levers, I don't need the tools to remove the tires, the wheels, because I don't have to change them. Because again, there you go. If I was doing big trip, I would probably still carry at least one tube, hand pump, and obviously tools to remove the wheels anyway, because you probably want to carry your wheel bearings or whatever, just in case one of the mousses collapses, something goes wrong with. Again, very comfortable, they won't, but just in case. What else? That's it. My brake lever still didn't arrive. There's one coming from France. So instead, this, surprisingly, this worked actually very good. You know, people complain about when you have to do the clutch is more difficult on these bikes because to remove all of these, the bolts are under there, so you have to remove this. Literally, it's 3 bolts. It's one here, and that. In the workshop, yes, because I've done the clutch work yesterday, I'm not exaggerating. It took me about 3 minutes to have everything dismantled, and 3 minutes to put it back together. So 6 minutes. On the trial, because you have to use hand tools, no power tools, it's probably going to take you twice the time. 10, 15 minutes maybe in total. And this is, it's the benefits of this bike kind of starting to balance off apparently the low reliability on this bike. And however, the more I study the motorcycle, I am quite skeptical about this famous unreliable. Now, it's quite complicated. It's got 2 TPS sensors and a map sensor and all that stuff. However, all of this is needed if you want to refine a single cylinder, high performance single cylinder engine. If this was low performance, it would be nice and smooth, but high performance, high compression, all the stuff, you want to refine it, so you need the ECU to have a lot of sensors. Now, just make sure all of these sensors are nicely fresh, because after 12, 15 years, if one sensor gives up, you can't really claim bad reliability. I mean, this happens on anything, on cars, on anything electronic. Just change for the fresh ones. Are they expensive? They're not cheap, but they are good quality. What do you want? I'm okay with this. So if the stuff doesn't just give up for no reason when it's fresh, I'll be okay with this. So far, this is old stuff. It is low mileage, I think, because the bike came to me that it shows on the clocks only 60,000 miles. If it's true or not, I don't know, because you can change these clocks. However, when I open the clutch, obviously you can see inside the engine, well, not completely, but enough. It does look very low mileage. The wear is minimum. So anything else, it looks like being, kind of not used too much for too long. So I'm inclined to believe this is very low mileage bike. And now we come into the next part. I'm gonna sell the T7. Yeah, I already made my mind. It's incredible, because so far the T7 was like, I can't sell it, I spent too much money, too much time. Why do I want to sell my T7? Well, first of all, the first reason is that this year I haven't raced. And if I did sign for the British Championship, Rally Championship, but I was doing that on my 350 because it teaches me more than a T7. However, I broke my wrist in the first round. Second round, still wasn't held. At that point, third round, Isle of Man, fuck it, it's gone. Plus, we're so busy in the workshop. Next year, the business, the way it's going, is booming, is doing good. I'm very happy, and I think I will have to push even harder. So it's probably gonna be pushing the workshop, push the business really hard, and then fuck off on the bike somewhere for 2-3 days on my own, friends, even probably with my wife sometimes. I'm lucky enough that, my wife also is a really good friend of mine, and we enjoy spending time together. Some people, they have to stay away, like I need to go away from my wife. I'm the opposite, so I'm feeling very lucky with that. And she's getting the bike license, she's learning how to ride a motorcycle, blah blah, she enjoys it. So I will really enjoy to do relaxed trip with her. UK don't have to be far away. UK is a beautiful country. If you start doing lanes everywhere, this country is green, this country is absolutely beautiful. When you start discovering, and you have the will to discover, on the motorcycles is a perfect way to do it. So that's what's gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna race next year. If I'm gonna do any races, it's gonna be small local races, just to keep me kind of fit on the bike with the skills, just to maintain them, because then year after, God knows what's gonna happen. I'm really dreaming of the big rallies, but I need to have a time. Next year, I'm not gonna have that. So again, if it's gonna be small races, I'm gonna do them on a 350. And this bike or this platform, because I wanna change it, came to this in a second, is gonna be more of a adventure setup, very capable off-road, but adventure setup. I'm not gonna be worried about taking the paths that, oh, this looks sketchy. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back up on a T7. On this, fuck it, you drag it up if you want to. I know for the guys who do enduro, this is not 110 kilograms bike, it's 140 kilograms bike, it's 30 kilograms heavier. Doesn't seem as a lot, but you feel it. However, for someone who comes from the big 200 plus kilograms bike, this feels like a, extremely lightweight. So there you go. Now, what's going to happen with this bike? This will stay for my wife. If she's going to like it, I think she's going to love it. I'll tell you something, this bike is so easy to ride. Much easier than the bike she's practicing on. She's practicing on my FX350. It's very aggressive. The clutch is heavy. This is 3 times easier of a bike to ride it. It's more powerful, but it's very docile as the engine, as the clutch, as everything. And so if she's gonna fall in love with this bike, it's gonna stay for her because it's got a nice seat. I've put an after already. I have the whole navigation set up, the fuel tanks which I removed now. Cruise drives is nice and smooth. I'm finishing off and refining the motorcycle. Probably gonna powder coat the frame and etc. Just to restore it nicely. Engine seems realistic. Have low mileage. Everything seems to be actually really good on this motorcycle. Obviously, I'm gonna refine whatever it needs to be refined. And we're gonna keep it if she's gonna want to. If she not, then once I've sold the T7, I'm gonna get myself the new 690 just because I want to spend I want the substitute for the T7, so I'm definitely gonna spend some money on it. I'm gonna build proper suspensions, good spec. Even thinking about replacing the gearbox, because everyone knows this is close ratio gearbox, which is kind of a bullshit on an engine like this. For adventure riding, probably a Nova gearbox. I know it's a lot of money, but I think it will transform the bike massively. First gear lower, not really fast about that, but sixth longer. Unless I'm gonna remove the gearbox and we're gonna build from someone just the 6 gears. The 2 gears for the 6 gear longer. I don't know, we'll see. However, I want to build it proper. So proper enough to have probably additional fuel tanks as well, which again, local riding don't need it. But I have to be honest, the fuel tanks on this from the rally ride, I don't mind them at all. And that extra fuel is just nice to have, either need it or not. I know you can get rally rate, Raid Garage, I think, the extra 6 liters under the seat, but I prefer that space for storage than the fuel. So I'm fascinated by this platform. I like it. I'm sold. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get myself the fresher one. Maybe not new, probably about 2019, 2020, 2021. The second gen or the third gen engines. I don't know what they are, but the ones with the 2 balance shafts. Does this one vibrate? Yes, it does. Not a deal breaker. It doesn't bother me at all. Even road use. Honestly, I don't know what people are moaning about. It's fine. I've spent 5 hours because it was a disaster. We went to green laning, 2 hours to get there, an hour and a half. The injector got clogged. I had to fix it on the side of the road, but only took me 15-20 minutes. Disassemble the bike, do it, and then assemble it back together. Took me back home, which was total over 3 hours because a lot of road closures. So I spent over 5 hours that day on the road. Spot on. Absolutely fine. No issues with the vibrations. So, and I have nothing on the handlebars. You see there? Everything is standard, so everything is solid, and you can do a load on the steering bars to remove the vibrations. So I don't see any issues with this. So if my wife will not gonna want this bike, it's gonna be for sale. But before I sell it, I'm gonna refine it, do a lot of work on it, improve it even more. And again, it's gonna be including all the kit, all the rally kit, the seat and everything. And then I'm gonna build myself the fresher one, purely because I'm gonna spend all of that money and all that time. I just want something that it was mine from the beginning. That's it, purely for this, and because they make more power. Supposedly more reliable, but again, this reliability stuff, I think there's a lot to do with, again, maintenance and I don't know, new ones they packed with electronics, which I'm really against. So we have to remove all of that, the ABS and traction control. Maybe I leave it, but all the other stuff, yeah, I don't know. It's just asking for problems. I don't know. Again, I'm discovering a lot of stuff from this bike so far. I am intrigued. I love it. I wasn't expecting to like it so much, and I did. So it's going to replace the T7, not just for the reason that I think this is a better motorcycle. This is a different motorcycle. I don't think you can compare the T7 to the 690. I don't think there is a comparison. You cannot. They way too different. That bike is long distance travel. Can this bike do it? Absolutely can. That probably is more suited. For me, this is more suited because I want to do more of a kind of adventure riding. I want to be able to, do more off-roading orientated adventures, less road. I was already okay with a dirt bike, adventurous in a dirt bike, panniers, nafta, and it will be almost good. I just wanted something to be more road capable. This fits me perfectly. So again, for everyone, it's something different. This is good enough for me. Actually, more than good enough. The other reason T7 it goes because I'm not gonna use it. It's a race bike. I spent a lot of money on it. It's got absolutely beautiful suspensions. I spent a lot of money on suspensions alone. I spent over $6.5 between suspension and wheels, and then we've refined, we improved the suspension from the back. Then obviously all the custom work and the rest of the stuff, ECUs and loads of money. I spent about 14-15k on top of the bike, so I'm gonna lose loads of that. But if I'm gonna hold on the bike that is not gonna be used, I'm gonna lose in a time even more. I'm not gonna keep it just because maybe one day I'm gonna use it, because I think when it's time to actually use the bike for the big distance rallies, finally Africa or something like this, I probably still prefer to use this. Once the T7 is built, I will probably use the T7, but if I don't have it, probably this platform. So this is the update on a 690. Result, well, I like it. I like it very much. All right, see you soon.